There we go. Look at that. We are in frame. Perfect.
Hi, welcome to Not a Burger episode 7. Wait, I'll wait till you're done drinking. That's Robbi.
And that's Dave. It's like that moment where the waiter comes up to you and how's your food? You just give them the thumbs up because they wait for it. I swear that they train for that.
They don't want you to be catching them up in conversation.
Because the thing is that you
actually, can I get some more sauce?
Exactly. That's just
this is actually cool.
You can't complain about the food when your mouth is full.
That's a good point.
So
I think that's the best explanation. Someone in the food service industry could tell us for sure.
Yeah.
But I like your Occam's razor is like the most obvious explanation is the right one. I always wondered about that. Anyways, so I always fly right in the door, and our introduction to you is like our introduction to each other. It's like, hey, Robbi, how you doing?
Exactly.
I just got here. You just got here from training. I just got here. Everything's good.
Exactly. We don't catch up. Like pretty much the 15 minutes before the show, I go in and set everything up. Is I rewire everything, hook everything up, and then Dave walks in. Hey, I'm here.
Hi. I'm not late.
Yeah. For a change.
I want to start the show today with two different things. One is our corrections from last week. You know, if you say something incorrect or do something out of line, you have to issue a retraction, correction. And I wore the same shirt for 2 podcasts. So I have to up my shirt game. I have to, actually buy clothes. When I was young and in junior high, I wore the same shirt twice on the first week of school, and somebody called me out.
First week of school,
somebody called me out like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I'm poor. I'm embarrassed." But now it's just that I just don't care enough. So I have to start caring more that we have our faces on the internet. I have to have some basic fashion sense.
Yeah, no, I try not to wear the same clothes. It's weird because sometimes I dress. You saw me. I dress up professionally.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Nice.
Business casual.
Mm-hmm.
I dress up business casual for work once in a while, or sometimes I'll wear just regular jeans and a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found that I've done is I'll wear my business casual stuff to work. I'll change clothes into a t-shirt and jeans to stream. Mm-hmm. And then the next morning, if it's like a Saturday, I'll put the same clothes up because it's like I didn't do anything. I just streamed.
Yeah. Also, they're already out and ready.
Right. Exactly.
Them on, but you were only in them for like a couple hours, so it's not like you sweated in them.
Right. Exactly. I didn't sweat. It's not like I sweat in it. It's not like I got food on it. It's just I just wore it because I didn't want to be dressed up in a coat, button up, and slacks to stream me playing bass guitar. Like.
Right. I have the same problem, like, there's your standard go outside in Florida, hot, not give a shit outfits. It's like...
The Speedo.
Flops. Well, not currently, but,
That's what I'm wearing come the hurricane, just a Speedo.
So what I wore today was flip-flops, and I have a pair of cutoff jeans that... I've made cutoff jeans before, and I did a really good job where they're, like, not awkward short.
So Daisy Dukes?
Like capri pants long. Yeah, Daisy Dukes. And these were just a little bit awkward short. And I had silk boxers on, so they're like sliding.
Oh my god!
Constantly. And I have the shag hawk, the fro hawk going on.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to be fucked up if I'm just like not caring, if I just walk out of the house and don't feel like doing anything with it. So I got this like do rag that has like.
You the do rag again, yeah.
Yeah, it has video game controllers on it, but. I feel like, first of all, if you're going to be like a loser, like I don't give a shit, you have to really sell it.
You have to commit to it, right? You can't
like,
half-ass it.
Flip-flops, fat guy in a tank top, obviously I'm $5 dollar store 80s sunglasses.
If I look like I just rolled out of the bed, I'm going 100%.
Yeah. So that was me with my pants falling down today, trying to get gas, and everything is, crazy. All the grocery stores are out of food. We'll get to that later. But the story I wanted to share first was that when I went to my car, there was something in my trunk that wasn't mine, that I didn't put there, that my girlfriend, my wife now, didn't put there. A lunchbox was in my trunk.
Yes.
It was...
Blue?
Yeah. Is that yours?
Dude, that's Adam's.
Really?
He's been trying to get a hold of you.
Oh my god.
He's been trying to get a hold of you to get his lunchbox back from that time we jammed out.
Why did he have a lunchbox on it?
Because he had beer in there.
I'm so glad I brought this up because, okay, so let's tell you something about Adam because I don't want to embarrass him. He works outside. He's an electrician, basically, electrician / sound equipment setup. So it's a sweaty job. It's a hot job. It's Florida. There's attics involved. There's crawl spaces involved. There's quote unquote basements. What I mean is like crawl spaces under a house. So this thing was dirty and smelly. So I was like, how the hell did this get in my trunk?
Yes.
And I opened it. I looked in it. I was like, is there going to be a bomb in it? Is someone fucking with me? How did they get in my car? And I threw it away. So I got a lunchbox. It's not a fancy lunchbox. I'm not worried about it. But can you imagine what was going through my head? Like, I thought that maybe a homeless person, because this thing was dirty. It was old. It was beat up.
Yeah.
I only had two explanations. One, a homeless person was like interrupted rifling through my car and made a break for it and left it, right? So like I said, I didn't want to embarrass our friend, but it was dirty and it smelled, the lunchbox. So second, someone looked at my car, found a lunchbox on the ground, and went, this must be his because this lunchbox is shitty and that car is shitty. Yeah. Now, you have to understand about my car. It's like a 2000. You know, I got it because it had character. I got a good deal on it. Celica in really good shape, low miles. Yeah. I love Celicas. I love wood paneled station wagons from the 80s. Like, I want an older car that has character. Fix it up, make it nice. Whoever had it loved it. They did a lot of Ricer type stuff to it. Put a muffler on it, lowered it.
Yep.
Put lights inside it. Painted the interior. Put a racing steering wheel with no horn and no airbag. So they might have died in it, as far as I know. But it's not exactly me. I'm not that guy who like has la fiebre, you know, the fever to street race and pull up next to people at red lights and rev my engine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose anyways because the car is not new. It's not that souped up. It just looks fast.
I mean, I can hear it from a mile away, so I know. Okay, Dave's on time.
So that's probably why they assumed the lunchbox was mine. They're like, find the oldest, shittiest car. That's the one. I've never made a car payment. I never want to make a car payment. I enjoy working on cars. I've done belts on it. I just balance the tires myself.
I just can't believe you didn't respond to any of his. He's been trying to get in contact with you about his lunchbox that he left because, like I said, he had a lunchbox the day that we jammed out, and
now I feel bad that I mentioned it, but I'm glad the mystery is solved because I was really not having any idea how this lunchbox ended up in my car. And I've looked in my car since he's been in it and not seen it. I didn't see it until like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, but how clean is your car?
I mean, not that clean, but it's right on top. It's right on top, so I would have assumed I had seen it. But anyways, yeah, I was just freaking out. Like, how the fuck did this thing get in my car?
Yep.
And he makes good money, so I thought if it was his, it would have been nicer. But he's obviously beat it up and loved it.
Now, exactly. Now it's a sentimental thing that he...
that wasn't from, like, a dead relative.
Exactly. It was handed down by a relative who has since passed, and you're like, oh, it's not mine, fuck it.
It smelled bad, man. I thought for sure there was going to be, like, a dead animal in it or something.
God.
Or a bomb. But, yeah. So those are the two things I had to get out of the way.
Can't believe
my adventure and my retraction.
And you know how easy it was to figure out.
Well, I haven't gotten any calls or texts. First of all, I get robocalls out the ass, like probably 10 or 15 a day.
I was trying to see if he
answer. Look at my phone.
I'm pretty sure he sent messages on Facebook because I just checked. I couldn't see one, but I think he posted a comment on something about it.
I don't think so, but I'm gonna be open to the possibility that I'm wrong.
Because how did I know? How did I know that was a blue lunchbox?
It had to have been a comment then instead of a message.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm real, easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah, Robbie, we have this storm coming.
Yes, we have Hurricane Dorian coming in. That's supposed to hit. I don't know. So the thing with the hurricanes in Central Florida is, everybody says this is the big one. This is the one that hasn't hit in 30 years. Blah blah blah. And it's just like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But
normally I'd be with you. I was born and raised in Florida. I've been through many hurricanes. I've been down the street in a canoe. It was that flooded. I've been without power for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on how old I was and which hurricane it was. But this one I'm actually thinking might be a big deal because it's from reliable sources.
But it's supposed to hit, so mixed things are, it's supposed to hit Sunday.
It's always the path that's up in the air, right? The strength they're pretty good about, but the path.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit Sunday, stay steady through Monday, and then possibly also Tuesday early morning. Or it can hit Monday in the morning and then through Tuesday, through the whole day Tuesday. I don't know. I just know that last time we got hit by a big hurricane 2 years ago, I was out of power for 2 weeks and it was miserable.
Me too. So my brother works in pool enclosures, so he has access to power tools, aluminum.
Yeah.
So he encased all the windows of our house that I was living in the time that I'm not now, to protect it from flying debris in the hurricane. And what ended up happening was we lost power, so he couldn't take them back off because he had power tools. So we had basically a big
sauna.
metal oven of a house for 2 weeks. I was sleeping in my car with the windows down. I went to the college library, UCF, where I'm currently enrolled, and got a couple like paper books. And that's how I kept myself from going crazy, was paper editions. I think I read Ready Player One, or the following book he wrote after that.
Yeah. I was, like I said, I was out of power for 2 weeks, and that was, I think, the year that I had just bought my house. And I think that everything was already. Also, I gotta get ready because I gotta move a whole bunch of stuff indoors and all that. But
you gotta move backyard. I haven't looked at it
me and my ex, we had slept in the master bedroom closet.
Mm-hmm.
We just put
because you don't want to worry while you're sleeping.
Exactly. It was, I think it was about 8 p.m. was when it starts like really hit, and then power started flickering. We were watching television, trying to keep up to date with everything. The power started flickering, and then finally just completely cut off. So she had some battery powered string lights that she lined the closet with, and it was myself, her, and my dog in the closet, and we just stayed in there.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done the hallway floor, like really bad wind, not wanting broken glass flying into your
Exactly. You don't want broken glass flying. That's what they say. You want to get somewhere indoors that's no windows, because in case a tornado or something comes by, you just want to get. And man, I actually got some really good sleep, because I think that we just put down some old mattresses. We put down some old blankets, made like a little bit of cushion, and then we just slept there. And then the morning, man, it was just crazy. Giant fallen trees all over.
I think that with our current viewership mostly existing outside of Florida or even outside the U.S., people don't realize that like hurricanes are kind of a big deal. They can make.
I think that people realize that.
Well. It's just
like saying, Floridians don't realize, but earthquakes are a really big deal.
Yeah, the two things you really have to know about Florida is A, how much of a big deal hurricanes are, and B, how little Floridians give a shit about it. Like, we're just so used to, no power for 2 weeks. Oh yeah, your car getting crushed. Oh yeah, down power lines in the street. Chaos, no gas anywhere.
Yeah,
it's like a mini apocalypse every time there's a bad one. There was one where I'm gonna start in my youth and go all the way up.
Yeah.
I wasn't old enough to remember which one in which year and how old I was, but I distinctly remember one time in the middle of the night, the wind is absolutely raging, and I look out my window, and FPL is literally fixing the down power lines in the middle of the storm.
In the middle of the storm?
I don't know if they were fixing them or
like reinforcing them.
I think they were just assessing, because we did go without power for a long time, so there's no way that they had been fixing them. But I just thought that was really admirable that I'm looking out the window at like 1 or 2 a.m. and there's dudes out there in the storm in a power truck, literally on my corner in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, this is like. And
then you have over here Duke Energy, who took, I don't know how long to get the power up around here.
It's a toss up, because if you live near something important, you're always going to have your power. If you live near a hospital,
right? Yeah, exactly. Right, if you're on the same grid as them.
I think also it's kind of like small town itis, because I'm from Melbourne. So in Orlando, if someone got shot, it might take so and so long for somebody to show up. But in a small town where nothing's ever going on, you have a cat up your tree and they're there in 5 minutes.
It's like a cat up your tree. You think?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and there's a power truck there, like, because that's all they have to do. So credit where credit is due. But that being said, after that, when I woke up and I opened the door of my front door to assess the damage, I can't talk right now for some reason. Literally from my front doorstep, there's water all the way up to my front doorstep, all the way across the street to the neighbor's front doorstep. So there's no driving, no leaving the house.
Yeah.
Battery-powered radios, canned gas, sterno cooking, campfire cooking, and just misery. Because I was in the middle of Shining Force for the Genesis, the last boss fight, and it takes a long time, that game, and it took me a long time to get there. And I had to wait
and there's no save
to find out how the game. No, it's saved.
Oh.
Well, there's no saving mid-battle in that game. These are like big tactical for the time battles. It's not like a Final Fantasy fight where you're just sitting there. This is like a battlefield you have to move across and fight your way to the last boss to beat him. So it took a long time. But anyways, I had to wait forever to find out how it ended. And people around the street, maybe a couple blocks away, had put up a sign, and it was, "We have been without power for blank days."
Yep.
And every day they would update the sign, kind of like a plea to the power station. Me and my friends were going around with staplers and paper, like please put our power back. We're dying. It took us weeks to get to that point. It was like 2 weeks before we were like, this is crazy. We're getting ignored here and putting up signs. But the guy with the sign eventually updated the bottom portion to say wife angry. So it was like, we have been without power for, I think his block got up to like the 20s or 30s.
Jeez.
Got power back.
Yeah.
And that's when he added the wife angry portion.
I remember the last hurricane, like I said, it was about 2 years ago that the last hurricane, like the last big hurricane that came through here that knocked out all the power and everything. There was right up the road, they had the same thing. It was a not cardboard, it was a like plywood that they hung up, and it's like been without power for this long. And when I finally got power and getting close, driving past it, still didn't have power. But the thing is. So what I think happened was that they were close to where Duke Energy is.
The line?
No, well, their actual location. Yeah. So what we were trying to figure out, me and my ex and her family, is like, do they go outward? Oh, do they go out and then work inward?
I think they just go towards high priority.
Yeah, obviously they'll prioritize that, but then after that, do they just work inward closer to their central hub? Or
there's probably a formula that we're not privy to that.
Because I'm pretty sure, obviously, I don't think that was the case. I think it's just they prioritize the larger amount. If we could turn on this grid and we could get power to 100 people, or we turn on this grid and it turns on power for 1,000 people, go for the 1,000.
Yeah,
but
it's probably also how much damage there is. It's like if you can do an afternoon's work and give a couple hundred people back power, that might take priority too.
So the first hurricane that I went through, it was 2004. It was those three. I can't remember what the names were.
Yeah, I know. I've literally been through probably double digits of hurricanes.
Yeah, the three that back in 2004 we had 3 hurricanes. One came from the east, one came from the west, and one came straight up the middle. And man, was that fun!
That was. Those individual hurricanes weren't that powerful, but
it's just the repetition, one after another. We didn't have time to recover because it was about a week apart from each other. That
the rain basically never stopped.
Yeah,
because the rain bands were still leaving from the first hurricane as the second one came.
Yeah, it was just, but the that was the first time that I had ever experienced a hurricane, and I was standing, looking out the window. Well, first it starts out. I think it was the first one when the wind started picking up. Mm-hmm. I'm looking out the window, and my parents noticed that a piece of their gutter was flying across the yard. And they're like, oh, shit. Go out there. Go get it. So I run out there, and I grab it.
That's not safe.
And I grab it.
Your are wild, man.
And the grass is wet. All of a sudden, my foot slips, and I just eat shit. Holding the piece of gutter. I run back in. I'm like, I got it. But then after that, I'm sitting there. I'm looking out the back window because my parents have like a giant sliding glass. Like most people have a sliding glass in the back. And I'm looking. I'm like, oh man, holy crap! They just lost power. And I realized, how am I seeing the houses behind my parents' house? There was a fence there, and I realized the fence is gone.
But not only that, you're out there in the wind, and there's fence poles flying around like javelins.
Well, luckily the fence didn't like fly. The fence just flew and flopped down. But we had to, the next morning we lifted it up, nailed it back in.
It was like not as good as it was before. Right?
Yeah, because
that was the thing. Every time the fence goes down and gets back up, it's kind of like a little.
But it was just nuts because, like I said, I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, there's so and so's house. Oh.
Hi.
Wait, how did I see? I was not able to see the house before.
It'd be funny if you looked out your sliding glass door into your neighbor's sliding glass door, and he's standing there in like tidy whities eating bowl cereal. Like, oh
crap,
there's no fence here anymore.
Yeah, no, it was just wild that I could see that, and then the next day, after the hurricane, we went out. We took the dogs out for a walk, and
we took
the damage tour. The craziest thing that I saw was a trampoline had gotten picked up from one of the neighbors' houses, flew over their house, hit the garage of the house across the street, and landed on their. It was a police officer, landed on their patrol car.
Wow. I've seen some crazy stuff. And my parents have seen even more crazy stuff. My parents had seen someone's boat like on their house in Brevard County before I was born. And I saw my neighbor's house like almost cut in half with a tree.
Jeez.
Like, because we had really tall pine trees and they had really tall pine trees.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of leverage when something comes down.
Right.
Tall, and they had to have like their whole front porch, like huge,
Yeah.
the whole patio gone. But actually, I don't know if you knew this. My wife, Christine, her dad lost his entire house during those hurricanes because the first hurricane blew all the tiles off, and then it rained for like 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
So literally, water is inside the walls, the wiring, the insulation, everything is just ruined. So they had their whole house demolished down to the foundation. There's like a hole where the toilet used to be plumbed, and the whole thing rebuilt.
You mentioned the tree, and I just remembered. Yeah, there was a tree that was on our property. I think it was like half on our property, half on the neighbor's property, and it fell over onto their house. And luckily, exactly, if there's enough force, that thing's just karate chop the hell out of it and just. Yeah, but no, it luckily it just like kind of rested on it, but the shifting, it ruined their tiles. They had to shingles. They had to repatch a whole bunch of parts. But then a few days later, we had to get one of the neighbors who owned, I think he owned like a lawn mowing service or something, and he came out with a truck, just cut it up, pulled it out, and pulled up the root.
I don't know if you've ever looked up like to get a tree removed or anything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Which is crazy because. So 2 years ago, like I said, we had the big one. Well, not really the big one, but no, 2 years ago we had one that came in here that knocked out power for 2 weeks. But I want to say 2 years before that, me and my ex we were renting this house, and there was a hurricane. Well, it wasn't a hurricane; it was a thunderstorm, and there was a giant tree. And we told the homeowners it was through a company. The homeowners were leasing out the house through a company, and we told them, listen, some branches just fell down, you guys need to trim this tree because it's going to fall over. They did not listen to us. They're like, oh no, we're not going to do anything about it.
That's kind of like covering your ass then if something happens and you have a history.
Right, exactly. And I told them, like, listen, we're not going to, actually had to have been 3, it had to be, so 2 years ago was the one that knocked out the power. It had to be 3 years ago because it was shortly, but yeah, anyways. So when the big hurricane came through, her and I decided to go through to go see what happened in that neighborhood because it's not too far from here.
Yep.
The tree fell down onto the luckily it fell down onto the patio and it was covered, but we found out that exactly, and it just completely crushed the fence. It crushed the back patio, and the family that was living there had a kid. So and where that tree was situated, pretty much if it had fallen over just a little bit more over, it would have landed where my drum set and all my instruments were. But more importantly, this new family, that's where the kid was. So it was just we were like, well, do we tell them, like, hey, we warned them about this, but we're just like, no.
There's nothing worse than having a shitty landlord. Florida is especially known for having shitty landlords. I forget exactly why. Something to do with, I don't know if it's liability or if it's like renting laws, but they can basically just like.
I wouldn't say that we have shitty landlords just here. Well, I'm pretty sure we have there's shitty landlords all over.
I'm sure there are, but Florida's just known for like never getting your deposit back. It's just they'll find some. It wasn't the band house, but the house we had after that. When we moved in, there was a set of patio furniture, and it was already old and decrepit. And we were like, we don't want this. We are never going to use this. Take it away. And they didn't. And it sun rotted. And then they took the whole thing out of our deposit as if it was a new, brand new set of patio furniture. This was by Valencia College.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
But it's just like a little time bomb. They just leave a little time bomb, and then you never get your deposit.
I had one thing like that. Well, obviously don't want to derail the hurricane talk, but not talk about that. Well,
Florida's rough, man. We got hurricanes, we got shitty landlords, we got sinkholes.
Well, there was one time that I had a landlord that she left a box of broken glass and stuff like that we had to remove, and one of my roommates cut their hand on it, and we told her about it, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave that trash in there, blah blah. There was one tile in the bathroom that was broken when we moved in. And whenever I move in, my father always told me, take pictures, take video. So that's exactly what I did. So when I moved out, she tried to say that we left garbage all over the house, that stuff was broken, stuff was missing,
the
and then
house,
the tile was broken that we needed to pay something like, I don't know, $2,700. No, it was like
they want you to redo their whole bathroom. Right?
Ridiculous amount. So when I sent her all the photos and everything, and I said, and here's the number to my lawyer, contact him. Mm-hmm. She never said anything back.
Did you get your deposit though?
Oh yeah, I got everything back.
I don't think I've ever gotten a deposit back.
Yeah, I got everything back.
There's been times when we moved out early, took a whole week to spackle any nail holes in the walls, make everything perfect. Still didn't get the deposit back.
Yeah.
So, and then there was, if that hasn't done it, since then I've just been like, whatever. Because I always take the picture. I always do the walkthrough form when you first move in, and it seems like they always find something. They're like,
yeah.
The apartment I'm in now is really nice, but they always find little things to charge you for. It's like there was a drip in the faucet when we moved in. We're like, oh, it needs a new faucet. We just moved in a drip either. Oh, it'll be this much money. It's like, really? You're going to nickel and dime me on things that were happening before I even moved in?
Yeah. No, I always tell them, like, listen, if they try to get me for something, I'll come back. And I've lost, part of my deposit because of.
It's just free money for them. It's just another source of income.
The like you said, the nails in the wall. Mm-hmm. I just don't do it, so I'm just like, okay, I'll take it. But
and they always say it's way more than it is. A $12 thing of putty and a little bit of paint, and it'd be done. And
I did have.
It's $500.
I did have one where I moved out. Whenever I move places, I have about a week or a month. Or I have about a month, so that way I can move stuff. So I'll have.
That's responsible. I've helped you move before. So.
Yeah, I'll have like a month of double rent. Well, now I don't have.
That house where I moved furniture up the stairs for you, that's the house with the tree. We moved like a big something like that, like a cubby unit up the stairs.
Did we?
Remember? You lived on a corner, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
then that was the house. Yeah.
I didn't know that I knew it until I thought about
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right. You did help me move there. What was this? Oh yeah, I'd moved out, and I guess that I'd gone on vacation for about a week, and the water heater fell through the floor, and underneath I guess what happened was.
Like water rot or something?
Yeah, the water from the air conditioning unit, somehow something happened to it and it just seeped through because it was the water heater and on top of it was the air conditioning unit. Water leaked down, seeped through, and underneath the water heater where it was located was a garage. So I had rented an apartment, and below it was a garage that I was renting out too.
I remember directly you had like the motorcycle and you needed the space.
Directly underneath it was my motorcycle. It didn't fall through. It was leaning over, so but plaster I got all over my motorcycle and I moved it. But they tried to get me, so I told them about it. I'm like, listen, I didn't do it. It's nothing that I did incorrectly. I was on vacation. Mm-hmm. Something went wrong. I can't. And they try to hit me for I think something stupid like $15,000, something like that. And then the company got bought out by somebody else. And I was trying to call them, and like, oh, well, finally I got hold of somebody like, oh, we have no record of any of this stuff, so you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
Those companies are so scummy. A lot of them just buy up an apartment that's been there for like 30 years and just try to squeeze whatever they can out of it, and then they're gone in 6 months. But some of them are good. I've had some good experience. I've had better experiences with renting a house than I have with apartments. Yeah. But in general, you can't really expect much. Yeah. A lot of them have multiple properties, and they just don't want to be bothered with you. They're just like, another bunch of young kids.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The thing. Oh, here comes a bunch of punk kids. Whatever. They're not gonna get their deposit back.
Yeah.
But the hurricane stuff. So I remember back in 2004, and I remember it's 2004 because of this.
I have no concept of time, by the way.
During those big ones when there was no power and everything, I had just met pretty much like I would say she was my first serious girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So that was junior year of high school, sophomore year of high school. I can't remember what it was for me. But yeah, we had met, and this goes way back in social media days. Okay. Face the Jury.
I don't even know that.
You know, Face the Jury. No. This was before MySpace. There was a Face the Jury. We had met on there, and one of her friends had a car. I wasn't driving at the time, or I had just gotten my permit or something. I can't remember, but she picked me up, and we hung out, and it was just like it was so weird because
is this someone I know?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was just driving through. At the time, I guess we weren't that big of a college town, but still, it was still, driving through this college town. Nobody's on the streets. It's just like you have this dark, ominous feel over the city because
it's like a mini apocalypse.
Everything had just gotten destroyed, and we went to a park. Hung out over there, trees falling down and everything. It was crazy.
The weirdest thing is like really simple stuff like getting hot food or a cold drink is basically impossible. Like I've driven all the way out to Universal Studios to get like a cold shower because I worked there at the time and they had like locker rooms. So that was the only place I could get hot food and cold drinks.
That's what Caitlin was telling me. That's what she did for like I said 2 years ago, the last hurricane that came in. That her and her family ended up. Because they were without power for so long that they went to Disney World, rented a hotel there, and I was a whole bunch of people were talking at work that they were thinking about doing that. They were thinking about renting hotels over there.
Well, actually, what a lot of people don't know is that everyone from the outlying coastal communities all go to Orlando, including the power companies, because they have crews ready. So it's basically impossible at this point to get a hotel room in Orlando. But one thing I forgot to mention is that. If you do find a gas station that has power and has gas, like everyone from everywhere goes there.
Right.
And I was running into people all the way from the other side of the state that I knew that had ended up in the same Safeway, the only Safeway we have in Florida, because we both needed food and power, and that was the only place to get it. It's a small world.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that today I was able to get gas because I know that's like scarce commodity. Everybody's going out. I know that they just well, not just, but yesterday I think they declared a state of emergency. So there's different laws that are in place, like no, I'm talking about the different laws, like the anti-gouging law, because back I think it was 2004.
There was like 70,000 anti-gouging calls in 2004.
Well, that I remember because at that time back in 2004, gasoline was probably about like $1.50, something like that. And I remember seeing gas stations at like $5, $6, $7, and that was just nuts. And that I think like it was after that they were like, okay, we're gonna put this in place, report it. So I got gas for $2.30, something like that, and it was after that I filled up my tank, went inside, grabbed a few bottles of water because I'm just like going to every gas station that I can, getting some bottles of water. And as soon as,
by the way, was like, don't drink my water today. Like one bottle of water.
Hey, no. I'm just saying. I got a finite amount of water. That's it.
We actually got water at the beginning of this hurricane season.
Yeah.
And then drank it all since then.
Right. So and everywhere, Costco, Walmart, BJ's, all of them, they're all sold out of water. But so I paid for my water. I'm walking out. There's a giant line of people. So I'm not sure everybody just got off work at the same time. It just all went there. What it is, but was it yesterday? What was it? Was I driving back from the dojo? Yes, it was. No, I was driving to the dojo at about 4:45. Walmart was pretty much nuts to butts. I saw everybody outside,
even
the whole parking lot full, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, people, y'all waiting last minute.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. My parents
trick for the audience: go for the baby water in the toddler section. Nobody ever buys it.
Is there baby water?
Yeah, it's like distilled water for babies. I don't know what makes it for babies. I'm pretty sure it's just distilled water with a picture of the baby on it.
Yeah, my parents, but my dad always joked around because we had the first set of hurricanes in 2004. That was our first experience with the hurricanes, and we had some.
There was big ones before that.
We had. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was obviously it was Andrew.
Was in Miami, and we got bans for that in Melbourne, which was.
Yeah, and after that, my dad bought these clamps that go on the window and like a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, we just duct taped. Put up an X of duct tape in case it breaks. It'll stay intact.
Down. So, but the thing is, every time my dad jokes around, but it's true. Every time they would say, "This is the big one. Here it comes." We'd put it up. Boop! Just dodges us.
I think it's kind of like over. You don't want people to panic, but you want them to do something.
Yeah.
So you have to hit that happy medium of telling them to worry a little bit.
which is fine and all, but man, like, every time, and I think it's the same way with
it's clickbaity too, to be like, oh, there's a big scary thing.
It's the same way with the West Coast. Every time there's no hurricane, every time there's an earthquake.
Well, you can't really predict those as well. You don't have a week of seeing it on radar. Yeah. Like, here it comes, it's gonna come.
But again, everybody has the West Coast has an earthquake, and then they say, oh, the big one's coming. This is gonna be the year. The big one's coming. It just happens every year, and like I said, they say the same thing with hurricanes. Big ones. This is the big one. This is the big one. It's like, okay, I'll see it when I believe it.
It's always the
I'll believe it when I see
it. Like my mom has been through some really scary tornado stuff where they would just because they just happen, and especially in the extreme weather like hurricane, it just spawns them. She was camping in a tent once, and the big storm whipped up out of nowhere, and it starts to get really scary and loud and crazy, and she like looks out the tent, and there's like a tornado. I don't know how long. My mom is prone to exaggeration, but it's like, what am I going to do? Run? Like, I'm in the middle of the woods. There's no ditch. There's nowhere to take cover. And it's just like, either it's going to kill us or it's not. There's nowhere for us to go. That's pretty crazy. I hate the idea of things that can kill you without you ever being able to do anything about it. Like, being in the ocean, shark gets you, you're done. Or being in the woods, a spider bites you, a snake bites you, you're done. It's like, you can't fight that. It's just an...
Yeah, but I mean, that's how death goes.
Yeah, I guess death's like that. Did you ever watch that show where like the weirdest deaths? Like, I forget what it's called.
Yes. 1,001 stupid ways or weird ways to die, something like that.
Some of them are pretty wild. The two I remember the most is a guy is trying to sneak into a concert, and he climbs a wall, and he has a friend in a truck, slowly backing towards the wall to lower him down a rope so that he can not have to jump this major wall. And the guy crashes through the wall and knocks the wall over him and kills him.
Oh my god!
Brutal. But the worst one I ever heard was a guy is a zookeeper for elephants, and there's a constipated elephant, and he's got his hand up this elephant's ass, and he's been feeding it laxatives for like a week with no. It's either a couple days or a week with no effect. So you can imagine there's like a buildup in this elephant. So when he clears the blockage, it's literally enough shit to bury him and suffocate him before he can escape. God. That's got to be the worst way to go with your lungs full of elephant shit.
The only one that really stuck to me was the one that somebody got stuck in a industrial dryer.
I've heard of stuff like that.
Like a commercial grade, like an industrial commercial grade dryer. That's
going to be especially bad because it's slow. It's like you're bonking around, ow, it's getting harder and harder, and you're like, well, eventually I'm going to die.
Right.
Yes, that's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Man, dying sucks. Did you ever watch this was like the really edgy dark web thing that kids did when I was in junior high. It was like the Faces of Death videos.
No.
But you know of it, right? It's basically like really brutal, realistic videos of like people dying or animals dying or just really the most fucked up stuff you can imagine. I know two very kind of memey, I've never seen it, I've heard it discussed, two very memey events in that video is one, a guy is like taunting a bear and messing with it, and the bear takes a single swipe and knocks the guy's head off and it bounces across a field like a volleyball.
What?
Yeah. Another one is like people beating a monkey to death with a hammer. Those are the two that my kind of like naughty dark web, dial-up internet friends knew about that were like, yo, this stuff is...
Jesus.
That appeal to kids where like something is forbidden, it becomes like more desirable. I think that video was that kind of thing, yeah.
Wow.
But I never saw it. I don't do stuff like that. Like, I can accept a certain amount of like whoopsie videos, fail videos, people taking skateboard falls, but when people get really badly hurt, I just like when someone slide tackles right through someone's leg, and it's or in martial arts, you see they go for a kick, and then they don't realize they broke their leg against the other guy's leg when he blocked, and they go back to stand on that leg.
And they just can't,
and they just fall down. Like, that's the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared the video with you or if I just thought of sharing the video with you. There's two guys like squaring off, and one of them kind of has his stance too wide, and he's edging towards the guy with his foot really far forward, and the guy in one smooth motion kicks the leg out from
Jesus,
under him.
David.
Sorry, I just sweeped the table.
Yeah.
Kicks the leg out from under him and knees him in the face as he's falling and instantly knocks him out. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
It's pretty crazy. Like,
I've seen some good knockout videos because I watch a lot of martial arts videos just to, like, get ideas for my upcoming fights or whatever. But man,
it's gotta feel so good to see an opening like that and just take it and hit the home run.
That's one thing I'm glad that I don't know if I just got a thick head or whatever, but I just have not been knocked out. Hopefully I don't get knocked out.
I don't even like fight. I've been knocked out twice.
But I caught like the last fight that I had, dude came up and got a real clean kick. His shin just went straight across my head, and
I think I'm the opposite of you. Like, if you have a thick head, I have a thin head, because I've had some hits in mosh pits where I was like, I am rattled right now.
And I got like I said, I got a shin across the head, and you see, I watched the videos. There's only one video really. You could see in my face that I'm just dazed, and I'm about to tilt forward and fall over, but then I catch my breath. And I just come back to it. I just come back into it. Like, I don't, like I said, I remember that moment that he kicked me. I saw, tunnel vision. It just got blurry. And then all of a sudden, you just see me, I just like, and I'm just back to it.
You are kind of tooting your own horn a little bit, but it's,
absolutely.
I appreciate it, because I can't imagine overcoming, it's different to like endurance through something,
right?
Or just push your limits, but like, to overcome literally, like, it's almost like overcoming death. It's like your body's supposed to do one thing, and you're like, no. Your body's supposed to go to sleep or fall over, and you're like, no.
But
that's pretty awesome.
And I've seen people like the first fight that I had. There were a couple of other people that had prior fights and whatever. They had prior experience, but dude caught a chin straight across his mouth and just collapsed.
Yeah.
Just went straight down. I was like, what did I sign myself up for?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been knocked out twice. Once on a bicycle, I fell off. I woke up an hour later and I was like, I guess I got knocked out. And I went home. And I guess I had a concussion, because I had a lot of the weird like concussion symptoms, like bizarre dreams, stuff like that. I guess dreaming of death is really common after you get a concussion. I don't know. This story is, I was 10, so I don't remember all of it cleanly, but I know you have to watch somebody after they get a concussion, because like bad things can happen.
Yeah, they're just like, they can't form proper sentences. They can't, like, some words are.
And I know it's like, I don't know if this is one of those like old wives' tales, or if you're really medically sound, but you're not supposed to let them sleep for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, that's the thing, that they're not, as right when they get hit to the head, you shouldn't let them go to sleep. I think that's not really an old wives' tale. I think it's just
I just don't know why. Like, is it a blood pooling thing, or I don't know.
I don't know. But to bring it back to the original, the hurricane stuff. Yeah, so I got two bike stories though. Mm-hmm. So the first time that we moved to Florida, we lived in this neighborhood that was still being built, but there was mailboxes in, and I just remember me and my family were biking, and I'm like going super fast. I look back like ha ha, and I just get nailed on my right shoulder.
You got close enough your bicycle.
Exactly.
I got the exact same thing. The exact same way.
It hit me on my right shoulder, and I flipped backwards. I think I fell on my back, because I don't remember hitting my head or anything. But then
the bike hits you.
My bike just went straight forward. It was just like, ghost rod the whip. Woo! So I was like, all right, bye.
That's clean.
But then
mine was a lot messier than that.
But then the
exact same thing, like
to bring it back, that day that we so in 2004, that day that we were going around the neighborhood to go scope out all the damage after the hurricane, there were a whole bunch of trees, a whole bunch of branches.
There were entire streets blocked off from trees.
In the middle of the road, like trees in the middle of the road, and I was wearing shorts at the time. I had a BMX bike, and I was like, cool. I'm just gonna go bike real fight. Yeah, he's like, go bike real fast and bunny hop over this. Don't cringe, because I didn't get to the bunny hop.
Oh.
My shorts caught the handlebar so my left short
cargo pocket
opening, I don't know, the leg hole got caught on the left handlebar, and just immediately turned the handlebar from, we'll say, 90 degrees.
So you did a tabletop.
No, I didn't even get the bunny hop. I was just biking, trying to pedal real fast to get over the log. Mm-hmm. It went from, we'll say 180 degrees. It went immediately 90 degrees. So the tire went from straight to turn, and I just flipped over, and I still have scars.
Really?
I landed on my left knee and on my left foot, and skid across the ground.
I did a similar thing.
And yeah, that was just, it was, I think it was like down to the bone.
The two worst times I've hurt myself is one time, my elementary school had a circle track, almost like a track and field track. except that it was gravel.
Yeah.
And I was in a bike race with somebody, and in making the turn, I like skidded out, and I was going so fast that the left side of my body like skidded down the gravel. And I was picking gravel like out of my leg, like entire pebbles. The other worst thing was skateboarding. Obviously, skateboarding is really dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
I went to jump something, and I don't know if I like ollied wrong. I was never really that good at skateboarding. I was just really into it, like the whole culture of it, Tony Hawk and all that shit. Even before,
obviously, yeah, because our generation, we had Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and everybody's like, "Oh, I want to skateboard." We had Bam Margera. Yeah, we want to do Jackass.
There's literally musicians right now that they'll interview on like Hot Ones and say, "What's the best soundtrack of all time?" And they'll be like Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, I went to jump, and somehow I think the board hit when I was jumping and dropped away, because somehow my back leg was by itself, and the inside of my heel clicked the concrete of whatever I was jumping over as I jumped. And it was like the most intense pain, like, because it's just skin. I just racked that bone on that piece of concrete hard, like going basically as fast as I could run trying to make this jump. That was the worst. Kids in my school though were like, have you ever heard of a leap of faith where you jump from the top of one building to another building? Yeah. Like people were like failing leap of faith on skateboards in my school.
Failing?
Yeah. Like skateboarding was huge in my kind of clique.
There was
the kids who were actually good at it were doing the craziest stuff and therefore getting the most hurt.
So there was a elementary school by where my parents lived that we used to do, like, go onto the roof and go from building to building. Oof. Yeah.
We did a lot of dumb shit.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about like foot falling off like that. There was ones I wouldn't say we broke into, because pretty much my high school was almost open. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much open all the time, and we went in, and the middle of the main campus had a clock tower that had, I want to say it was a three or four set stairs. So like 3 or 4 stairs, and I ollied. It was either ollie or kickflip. I want to say it was a kickflip, but I think it was just an ollie. But my foot went.
I appreciate your honesty, because I was never very good.
my foot was. So I did the trick. I think it was a kickflip, because I kicked it out and I didn't bring my foot back.
I never quite figured out
and what
the mechanics of the kickflip.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, I know what you're supposed to do.
It's not that hard. Yeah. I'll show you one. It's not here, but I can still do it. I have a skateboard that I try out. I'm like, yeah, I can still do it. But so I kicked it out. The board flipped. My right foot caught the board, and as I was going down, my left foot was past the nose.
Mm-hmm. So you flipped the board up.
So no. Thank you. I landed on the trucks, so it didn't flip up or anything. But what happened was,
the trucks are the axles.
When my foot landed in front of the nose, it landed on the concrete, and the skateboard was still going forward. So the nose went right into my ankle, and I heard a loud pop.
Oof.
And I had
kind of rolled your ankle and smashed it.
I had a hairline fracture on my ankle. Yeah.
I've only broken a bone once, and it was my elbow, which was bad because I couldn't straighten my arm. To this day, one of my arms doesn't go all the way straight compared to the other one. I got a little tape glue on here because I had my blood taken, but it might look weird on camera.
Oh my god, nobody can see that.
I live in a dumpster, and there's black gunk on me.
But yeah, that I mean, skateboarding had a whole bunch of. I already said the one about me trying to ollie over the couch recliner. The lazy boy and me eating shit.
Right. I'm always trying to remember which stories you told me through this and which stories you told me separately.
Yeah, this was me.
We should just not talk.
That's it. No, but there was that one me olling over the lazy boy and just going face first in the concrete. There was once there was a giant hill that I decided, okay, I'm going to take off the trucks and just go down the hill on my skateboard without anything.
Oh, just like sledding a board.
Exactly, pretty much sledding a board. Yeah, it was a grassy hill, and I didn't see that there was a concentration of rocks towards the middle, and it caught it, and I went forward and
Superman.
caught myself on my palms down and got gravel in my palms.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like, it scabbed over, like they were like skin pockets pretty much. And like a few days later, a few days later in class, I'm just like pushing up on mine trying to peel exactly, and a rock, just like one rock was still lodged in there, and it came out. It was just a tiny little pebble.
Did you use that as an excuse to get out of class?
No.
Oh, I always used any excuse I could to get out of
class.
But
did you have soaps in high school? Or
I never had them. I mercilessly mocked the kids who had them.
I had
skateboarders were like the elite. Next was rollerbladers, also known as fruit booters.
Yep.
And then everything else was below that.
Yeah,
Bikers are like a separate thing because everybody had a bicycle, and the kids who could do tricks were like special.
yeah, I was a fruit booter as well, but
I was. I mean, obviously rollerblading's easy. I was an accomplished rollerblader, but
I enjoyed it.
I think to be a true fruit booter, you have to like get all the way into rollerblading culture, which I wasn't into.
Yeah,
I had rollerblading.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I wasn't into the rollerblading culture, but I
But
got.
Soaps was the worst. Soaps was like competitive walking.
No. So
Like free running is cool. Soaps not.
So the rollerblades I had a grinding plate on it, so I was grinding and all the things.
Could you skate backwards?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was one.
Yeah.
Like I could do all kinds of crazy jumps and half pipe and turns and. Well, for some reason I could never skate backwards. I just couldn't get.
Yeah, skating backwards. It took me a little while, but I finally got the concept of it. But then one of my buddies, he was getting rid of some soaps, and I was like, he was like, oh, it's like 40 or 50 bucks.
Wait a minute. Getting rid of some soaps. Are you telling me there's a secondary market for soaps? There's a secondhand market.
Oh yeah, it was. This was high school. This is high school. So anybody's trying to make money. It doesn't matter.
I
But
traded a mother alien toy for a pair of rollerblades. It was like the nice one where the mouth came out and had the whippy tail.
But anyway, so I put on the soaps. This was summer school.
Wait, Queen Alien. I'm sorry. People freaking out.
It was summer school. I put on the soaps, and there was a bench. No, it was a railing. It was actually a hand railing going downwards, and I grinded it, and it had that. So it had the slope down, but it had the straightaway at the bottom.
The kink.
Yeah, the kink. And I hit that kink, and I went forward, and I cut my knee. And what I ended up doing was, to all my teachers out there, I apologize. I was like the biggest piece of shit in high school. But I fell over, and my knee started bleeding. I took both hands, put it on my knee, put my blood across my face like war paint, and I went into class, and I was like, I can't remember her name, but like, I'm ready for war. Let's do this.
And you didn't get out of class?
No, I didn't.
Man,
hell no. I was,
like I was a good kid, but I was always looking to like work the system.
No, I never tried to cut class or anything like that, except for senior year, because
World of Warcraft.
Well, ooh, man, let me talk to you about World of Warcraft now.
We'll save it.
Not classic WoW's ooh, girl. But anyways, so I think it was senior year. So in my high school, we had 6 periods. We had six periods, 6 classes per day. Mm-hmm. My 6th period was work. So I would get not study hall. It was literally work. So I only had 5 classes. Mm-hmm. The 6th period was I could leave to go to work.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think they had that at my school.
My 5th period was programming. Me and the teacher, he was really down to earth, real cool. And I would just walk in, it's like, hey, I'm here, and I would leave. And that's it.
I had classes like that. But shout out to Miss Jones again, just the same as last week. She always let us skip the assemblies, go in her computer lab, work in there.
I don't know.
But as far as getting out of school goes, I would literally I would wake up early, go in the bathroom and mock vomiting noises, and stay home and play like Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, no, I never did that. I never faked being sick to my parents, like the Ferris Bueller thing. I can't go to class. No, I always.
That was my favorite movie growing up, so I always that was to me what Back to the Future is to you.
It was just. I don't know if I enjoyed. I mean, I definitely didn't enjoy school.
Well,
you can tell by my grades.
But I didn't get a single thing other than an A until like junior year of high school, when I was just like.
That's when you were introduced to cocaine.
Well, first of all, I had this kind of Goodwill Hunting thing going on where I was like, I'm so smart that I don't need to care.
Yeah.
And life has been so easy up to this point, and then I was just like, I thought that being too cool to apply myself was better than actually doing it, which was really stupid, and I was leading anyone but myself. So I went instantly from being like honors classes, gifted classes, all A's, to being like night school, make up grades, because I was basically not doing any homework at this point. I
don't think that there was a single year. No, there was 1 year that I didn't have to take summer school. There was only 1 year in high school that I did not have to take summer school. Middle school, I was pretty okay in middle school, but I think like towards like 8th grade was when it started to just go downhill.
Was it the same for you? You just stopped caring, stopped applying yourself? You seem like somebody who always applies themselves.
No, because that's the thing, and that was the thing that all my teachers always told my parents whenever it was.
Apply yourself.
It was, he's such a smart kid, but he just doesn't apply himself.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the same way. I was like super ADHD, so I was easily distracted, always thinking about something else. Always waiting to be out of whatever thing I was being made to do, whether it was like Sunday school or church or class, and going to do the things I wanted to do. So I was always working the system.
No, and that's the thing, I think I enjoyed school more so for the social aspect, maybe just hanging out with my friends, because I definitely hated class.
It was weird because I always took learning very seriously. Like I always wanted to prove that I was the smartest or whatever. I always wanted to have the highest score, which I'm not a very competitive person, so that's kind of weird to me. I think I took like doing my best very seriously up until that point where I was like a rebellious teen and didn't care. Like I remember in third grade there were times where the teacher would do something on her own and we were supposed to like read a story together, and one person would read it for the class, and she was always just like David, you're the best like reader, presenter. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a few teachers that like I really enjoyed. I had like a good chemistry with the teacher, so I did better in those classes because if I felt like if the teacher actually cared and they weren't just there for the paycheck, I did better in those classes.
Right.
Like if the teacher actually showed that they gave a shit, then I gave a shit.
That's true.
But a lot of teachers, and it's it's just a shitty thing that a lot of teachers are underpaid and
really bad
unhappy. So
I feel like I actually had a lot of good teachers. I was lucky to have good teachers.
Yeah, but a lot of teachers are underpaid, overworked, and they just let it show, and they take it out on other people, which are the students, which are the kids, and unfortunately they suffer. But when you have a teacher who actually cared and wants to, this is their passion. They want to do this. They're looking forward to it every day, and that always made the classes better.
Have you seen that movie where the teacher is teaching the kid drums?
Nope.
No.
I've never seen a movie.
You've never seen a movie? I can't think of the title.
Are you talking about Whiplash?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's one of my favorite movies.
So that was my music teacher in elementary school.
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, basically.
He was J.K. Simmons was your...
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. He was snapping at people, and yet I remember everything in his class, and I really loved learning music. And
that movie is such a good movie, and it's I think it was one of those like Sundance, cheaply done movies where they were like, oh, this is for festivals, and man, it was a huge hit.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you make me want to see it again because
I did want to watch it again.
I never really
just listened to that again
and watched it. I always was kind of like it was on and I was like doing something. And
I just listened to the soundtrack the other day because one of the songs has which is the big song that he's trying to get down, where he's like, oh, not my tempo, but where it has that huge drum solo at the end, and that song, just that drum solo came out. I was like, you know what? Let me listen to the soundtrack. So I listened to the soundtrack, where I really want.
For the sake of drumming, or just for the sake of entertainment?
Just probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird how like little parts of a song in a movie that's not that important can like stick with you so hard. So, have you ever seen Sister Act?
No.
And
that's one with Whoopi Goldberg, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know of it, but I never watched it.
Her whole career is built on this movie. I mean, she was in Ghost, but like. And the only reason anyone cares about her is because she was in Sister Act. And 1 and 2. Anyways.
And Sister Act 2.
I have trouble in my memory separating Sister Act 1 and 2 because we're talking VHS days.
Yeah.
So I don't remember which movie this was. And I'm pretty sure Lauryn Hill was in one of those two movies. And I really think she's really talented and I love her. But I don't remember if it was her singing it or someone singing it to her. Anyways. All I remember is, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you got to wake up and pay attention.
Oh, my God.
Like, swear to God, this is like, I just looked it up yesterday. The movie came out in 1993. When can I expect to not have this in my head anymore? Like, how long does it take to get an earworm out of your head?
It's like, so one of my favorite songs of all time is by Placebo. And
is it Running Up That Hill?
No, it's Every Me, Every You.
I probably know it. I went through a Placebo phase.
And I know
6 months.
That song has stuck with me since sixth grade because or seventh grade.
Can I tell you? I think Placebo is very underappreciated.
No, you can't. You just keep interrupting me. I think it was sixth or seventh grade, and my best friend at the time, I had a sleepover at his place, and we watched Cruel Intentions. And
so
that
this
song,
had to be VHS.
Yeah, it was VHS. Oh yeah, it was absolutely VHS. We played Killer Instinct on Super Nintendo, and we watched
TJ combo, right? Yeah.
and we watched whatchamacallit? Cruel Intentions. And yeah, it was just that song, every me, every you, just stuck with me. It wasn't until 2004, 2005,
Daybreakers?
The girl that I was dating from the Hurricane stuff, she showed me another song by them, and I was just like, holy shit, this is the same band. They have so many good songs.
They do. For whatever reason, they never seem to take off in the U.S.
Not on the U.S., but they were huge in the UK.
Yeah. The same
in Europe,
thing as you. I caught them after the wave. There was a song, Running Up That Hill, by them in the Daybreakers trailer, and I went and checked out their albums, and to me they're kind of like Diet Muse. Does that make sense? Because Muse has, like, first of all, very big sounds, very theatrical, things you'd hear in movies that, never get sick of. And Placebo is, like, maybe not as famous, but I think, first of all, they had a lot of controversy because there's a lot of drugs and stuff involved, but I think they're very unappreciated.
What, Placebo?
Underappreciated, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that was the thing that was holding them back, was their singer in and out of problems. But, yeah, I could get back into them. I'm going to get onto a kick of this movie that we talked about, Whiplash and Placebo.
Yeah, I still listen to Placebo. They have one album that's pretty much the best of. I think it is the best of Placebo. They have a whole bunch of good songs, and what was it, English Summer Rain? That's another song that's off there.
I don't know songs by titles. I have to check it out.
And they just have so many good songs that I just go back and I listen to, and it's just every so often. And then sometimes I'll be playing bass, and I'm just like, all right, time to play Every Me, Every You. It's a pretty simple song to play, and it's just a fun, easy song to play, and I just love it.
Tell me a couple bars. It's driving me crazy.
What, Every Me, Every You? I'll play it for you later. Okay. I'm tone deaf as hell, so.
That's fine. Whew. You want to take a break?
Sure. It's already 10 o'clock, so we're about halfway. So yeah, we're gonna take a short break because I actually have to use the little girl's room.
Me too.
So let's get this. Oh, there we go. All right, so we will be right back. And we are back.
Welcome back to Not a Burger TV, the patty with two juicy boys.
Yes, before we go on, today's sponsor is nobody.
Caffeine.
Nobody.
No, we should make up one. You ever watch Internet Comment Etiquette? Oh my god, he's
Nope.
so funny. He's like, this week brought to you by Frank, and it just shows a picture of a guy, and he's like, he wants you to do well, and we want him to do well.
Oh my god.
It's just like, what?
We'll,
Obviously, he is big enough to be sponsored now, but before he was sponsored, that's what he put.
we'll
in
do
there.
that. We'll
Shit like
do that. Just do stupid shit
We're
like
gonna
that.
get more like technologically savvy and have separate cameras,
Yeah.
little cutaways, little sweet. Little
We'll look like a real put together podcast
Sure.
one of these days.
Sure. I got us a camera. I'll bring it over this weekend when we jam out.
If we
Yeah.
hang out
If
because of
we're
the
not
hurricane.
away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is my camera. It's not charged and there's no power.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows if I'll have power next week and we'll be able to do the podcast.
You know what's funny? My car is so lowered that last time the hurricanes came through, I couldn't drive down the street because I would bog out.
Well, that was my concern. During the last hurricanes, I had a Subaru WRX, and it wasn't lowered or anything like that. But I was still concerned that if I were to suck up too much air or too much water,
Does it lock up or freeze up?
yeah, no, it will lock the engine up. So I was like, nope. But now I have my Jeep Wrangler, and people, I'm just like, yo, if you need me to get you out, give me a call.
Honestly, I'm more of a Jeep guy. What I really want is a little pickup truck. Like, I love my car; it's got a lot of character. But in like driving on the street, I feel like there's a mismatch. Like they expect me to be listening to a certain music, they expect me to be driving a certain way, and I'm just kind of like, hey guys.
What you should get is a Subaru Baja.
Those
Have you
are
seen-
awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen some when I worked on cars. I've seen many
That's-
like, souped up Bajas.
That is one car
That's
that
funny.
I really once I have just extra money set aside, that it's just like
That you
not
can have, like, an
it's not
extra car.
it's not that money's not saved for emergency or something. I just have extra money. I just like as I want to buy one.
Nice. I want a little pickup truck. Have you ever seen the turbocharged
El Camino.
I love El Camino, but I'm talking about there was a weird turbo truck craze where they like made Ford Lightnings and Cyclones and now they're super expensive because they're super collectible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Just little trucks.
When I bought my
Samurais are cool.
when I bought my first WRX, I went to Ford to go try out this was before they had the Focus ST, so the Fiesta ST. I went to go try
Which
it
I
out.
still love, by the way.
The Fiesta? Oh, yeah, I love the Fiesta. I had a Fiesta and I loved it. But I went to go try out the Fiesta ST. No, it was a Focus ST, and I'm driving it, and I come back to the dealership, and there's a guy that's signing for a Raptor, and my buddy who
They
was
had him there, huh?
yeah
That's weird.
yeah they had like 2 or 3 of them, and he was getting ready to sign
That's
sign
a
on.
rich boy toy, right? Like,
Oh yeah, but that's where I'm going with this. That he, my buddy, we got out of the car and he's like, oh, jokingly like, oh, this guy's gonna have a real problem with gas. And the guy at the dealership, he's like, I don't think he's worried about the cost of gas.
Yeah,
if
right.
if you're paying that much money
Right.
on
That's
a
funny.
truck, you don't care.
yeah. I made a comment like that made me sound really stupid. I had read an article about like the reviews for cabin noise for like some super expensive car and then the reviews of another car, and somebody was talking about having that exact car and upgrading into that exact car, and I made the comment trying to sound like I was like up to speed because I was working on cars at the time, and I just sounded so dumb comparing those two cars. So it's like the same thing. It's like why do you
Yeah, I
think
I think that when you go in and look for a Raptor, you know what you're looking for.
Let me get the hybrid Raptor.
Yeah, no. It's like, oh, the Raptor was nice, but can I see the base model F-150?
Yeah.
No. I don't think that a Raptor is something that you work somebody up to. A Raptor is somebody went in and it was like, it's just
It's obviously not a car they're gonna like
no.
drive every day, or it literally has no practical use. It's not your nice evening car. It's not your it's not anything but a toy. It's like you obviously have enough money to have an expensive toy.
And again, it's the same thing. People walk into a Maserati dealership or asking for the high-end Mercedes. I don't think I think they know exactly what they want. It's not that they're asking, how much is the Ghibli and the Quattroponte? Because I just want a comparison really quick. Just want to see if it's in my budget.
2 questions for you. What's the nicest car you've ever driven, and what's your dream car?
Acura NSX, 1994 Acura NSX. I got to drive it. It was, or no, I did also drive 2000. 2004 Dodge Viper.
That's nice.
But both those cars were nice. I would say that those are probably the nicest ones. My dream car. At some point I wanted same thing like a 94 NSX.
I like that you're open to like older year cars.
Oh yeah. Or I wanted an older, again, it was a 93 or 94 Lamborghini Diablo.
That was my brother's dream car as well.
But yellow. It had to specifically
I like
yellow.
color picked that too.
Specifically yellow. Or I mean, one car that's reasonable for me at this point in my life that I would love to have, again, once I have extra money later, besides the Baja, is a Subaru SVX, I believe it was what it was called.
I don't know. I'm not that up to date right now. I've been away from cars.
It's what pretty much turned into the Impreza WRX and all those.
Everybody has one of those, yeah. Well, you had one too, didn't you?
Yeah, I've owned 2 WRXs.
Yeah. So the nicest car I've ever driven is a 2003 Aston Martin Vanquish. The owner of Full Sail brought his car to our shop, and nobody in the store had the balls to pull it in because they were so afraid to do anything to it. And I was the only one who, I guess, was stupid enough because it had paddle shifters and I had never done those before. But yeah, it was awesome. That same shop actually totally trashed someone's car. So the fact that we were even taking in an Aston Martin Vanquish, they're not there anymore, so I don't feel bad about saying so. But the fact that we even took one in just to do something like tires was just like madness. Why would you ever do this? Why would you ever put this much liability on your shop?
Yeah.
But second, my dream car, I'm not sure the year again. I've been out of cars for a long time, but the Skylines, they used to put the side view mirrors all the way down the trunk.
Yep.
That was my dream car for a long time.
Oh, the trunk, you mean the hood?
I mean the hood.
Yeah. That's G32.
I'm glad you know where I'm going with this, because I don't.
I'm trying to remember what was the model number, but yeah, that was the old. It was like the 90s that they did that.
Mm-hmm. And when they stopped doing Skylines for a while, I really liked the 350Zs. Solar orange was my color.
Solar orange. I like not the 350s, but the ones that they did before that. The
2-somethings.
No, the 300ZX.
Yeah, and maybe it was a 300ZX.
Yeah, 300ZX is nice.
5 or 6, yeah, 2005 or 6.
And I had a friend that he came from money, and pretty much every other week he would have a different car.
They trade them in like baseball cards.
Yeah, and
when I worked at the gun store, it was the same way. This guy's like, yeah, I got a 50 cal rifle this weekend. Trade it in.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just disgusting that his parents just let him just do that. But whatever. But he had a 350Z, and we didn't think about, me and a couple of friends, we wanted to go someplace, but we didn't think about the seating in the 350Z. We fit 5 people in a 350Z because it was.
I feel bad for number 5.
It was the driver, obviously, one guy in the passenger seat, and 3 of us in the trunk, because the 350Z has a bar that goes across the trunk. We kind of slid under the bar and made it like our seatbelt. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
That's pretty much what it was.
That's how we rode in the back of my friend's mom's station wagon, like people sitting in the back seat, like, well, I hope we don't die.
Well, the old station wagon, like, the was it the National Lampoon's Vacation. They had that. They had that one in the back in the trunk that like you could pop it up, and the seats just facing out the back.
Yeah, this one didn't have that. We just literally sat back there Indian style, or with our backs against the seat. Do you have? So I don't know what year and model that station wagon was, but if I had to get a car that's like nothing special, but I have an irrational love for it anyways, I really love the Chevy Malibu Max V6, where it has like the little short stubby trunk that's almost a hatchback.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just really love the body style, and I love the fact that it comes with a V6 in it, because it gives you a lot of room to grow.
It's like I've been thinking about a stupid project like for me to do, and
I love Mike's XB also, by the way. That's my dumb love car.
It's a very stupid project that it has no practical use or anything like that. It is, I want to buy a Geo Metro.
My dad had a Geo Metro, sky blue,
and I want to
3-cylinder.
I want to fit it with a whole bunch of amplifiers. So have like one bass amp and one guitar amp. Just have like a rolling, just like show everywhere you go.
Do you remember during the Casey Anthony trial days, there was this one band that would always promote their band by doing the most outrageous crap you can think of? I think it was like Bat Boy or something like that. They would literally play on a truck, on a flatbed truck outside of the Casey Anthony Courthouse. They would just be anywhere where it was like the least tasteful place to be, just to make the headlines.
No,
and like it was bad. So that's what they had, was like a flatbed concert stage, and they would just drive it up.
Yeah, see, but that's one thing. But if I could get a old hatchback, like a Geo Metro, and just fit it so that everything's pointing outwards, and then so you have storage for the drum set. Just bring the drum set out and just
seat is like turn sideways with something, and the back seat is like something.
No, you take out everything from the back, so you pop open the trunk and you have the amplifiers facing towards the trunk. You pull into a parking lot, just boom, hook up and just play. It's like I said, it's nothing practical. It's nothing that makes sense. It's just a project that I was just thinking about one day because I saw a Geo Metro drive by and I was like, they're not that expensive.
No, they're not. And the gas is really good because they're a 3-cylinder. Talking about gas.
Exactly. They're real cheap right now because you can find one that's beat to hell for like $400.
I think the problem with having a car like that is like, you have a shit car that's worth nothing, but the parts are going to be so hard.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's such a weird
and that's the thing. That's the thing. I want it to fix it up so that way it will have some tenure to there will be some tenure on it, but I want some life on it so it could last for a little bit. But
I'm really surprised that neither of us said DeLorean because there's like
goddamn, that's right, the DeLorean. Yeah. I mean, I have a DeLorean tattooed on me, and
I've always loved obviously that they made a second run that has like modern interior and modern fuel injection.
But that 1986 DeLorean DMC 12 that there's a shop right down the road from me. They have one that's parked in there, and I don't think it's moved. I kind of want to go in there and ask them how much they want for it because
I'm sure they want. You know what's funny? Have you ever seen that little air conditioning shop downtown that has that little cutoff van in front? I love that van. Like I would drive that.
But that's a staple. That's all. That thing has always been there for as long as I've lived here.
I love those like the whatever the signpost car is. It's always something interesting. Yeah. For the longest time, there was an Army surplus store on Colonial Drive that had like an old MASH Vietnam truck from the 70s, and like I would buy that. Well, too.
There's one. There's a. I think they closed down because. I haven't seen them there, but there used to be an Army Navy surplus store down in Winter Park, and they had a whole bunch of giant Army trucks. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
And Kate would drive by it, and she would say, "I want to ask them how much they want for the trucks," because they're just so ridiculous. And we went to a Jeep event over at Daytona Beach, and they had.
I love Jeeps.
They had something like that. Mm-hmm. It was all done up. It was crazy done up, and it looked nice. They wanted something like $78,000 for it because it was done up. And I was just looking at Kate. I was like, right. I can't imagine you driving something like that.
It's like a school bus. It's huge.
Yeah.
I would drive an H1. Did you ever see the H1?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're solid steel, like right out of the factory.
Right.
So I know a guy who he had, I want to say it was an old Pontiac, like back when cars were boats, and he got in a car accident with a Honda, and he sheared the car in half behind the passenger seat, like boom, and his car was literally replaced the bumper, and it's fine. Like that's the body type difference we're talking about when you talk about a Hummer, an H1, and like a regular
I got rear-ended not too long ago in my Jeep, and it was a girl rear-ended. It was a Lexus that rear-ended a Charger. And the Charger rear-ended me. However, they hit my tire that's on the back of my car.
Oh.
Nothing happened to my car. The middle car, his hood was just completely smashed in because he hit my tire, and it was like I was just like surprised that nothing happened to my car.
It makes sense though because there's like reinforcing around the mount, and then the fact that the tire actually has like some shock absorption because it's rubber with air in it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I never heard anything like that.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I pulled over because like I looked over there, I looked at it, I was like, there's nothing here. I'm just gonna drive off, and I was like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Because you're fleeing the scene of a crime. So let me just stop and just. Is everything okay? You want my insurance? No. All right, cool. Have a good day.
See. My wife has literally rear-ended people at a red light, and then they're like, it's fine. You can go.
My God.
Like, in the same way that I mentioned the police never let me go, she always gets let go.
Yeah.
She once drove without registration for, like, a year or two. She'd get pulled over, and they'd be like, just get it taken care of, and she'd be like, "Thank you."
I drove. I'm not sure if I talked about it, but I drove without registration on my car for I think 6 months.
Why?
I didn't know that expired.
Oh, okay. That's
Because I thought that I had.
It doesn't seem like a very you thing to do.
Yeah, I thought that I had renewed my registration for. I think it's like you could do it for 3. Like you could do it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think they have the 3 year anymore.
They don't. Well, I think at the time like I renewed it. I thought in my head I renewed it for 3 years, and
you never look at your own sticker.
Right, exactly. And something happened where I needed to register. Not register. I think it was I had to give my car license plate number to my old job because I was working downtown, and
I've
they
been through this as well.
and they needed my license plate number because
you can't have this job. You're not registered.
Well, no, it's not that they just needed my license plate number and the vehicle make and model so that way they could have it registered so that they're like, okay, cool, you could park here. And I went to go get my license plate number and I saw it. I was like, holy shit! I have been driving unregistered for so long, and I called my ex. I'm like, listen, I hate to do this to you, but can you go to the tax place and pay for a new registration for me? So she did that. That day she went to the tax place, filed all the stuff for me, drove downtown, gave it to me,
props to her for that.
And then I was just like, since you're down here, do you want to get lunch? Thank you.
That's big, man. At one point I was a delivery driver for auto parts, and something similar happened where like my insurance lapsed and I didn't know or something, and I literally was like couldn't do my job. All of a sudden they were like, "Hey, you know that job that you do, you can't work now." But they put me in another role in the store where I could still be like working and productive. But I was like, I'm such an idiot. Yeah. So that's why I was like.
But it's like you said, you don't check it. Yeah. I mean, I know. I'm fortunate that because my insurance is through my parents because we get a better discount with all of us together.
Your dad has military insurance?
I don't know, but
I got that military insurance because my dad was in the Air Force, and that shit is sweet.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what kind of discounts they get, but it's cheaper if all of us are together. So they give it to me. Like, here's a new registration. Keep it with. Oh, here's a new license. Here's a new insurance, but I know that my registration expires on your birthday, so I know now every year I renew it for a year, and I know okay my birthday's coming up, cool. But
so you're saying if you do the 2, you'll forget because you'll go there 1 year and be like
exactly, and so I just do the 1 year, and now I know every birthday. But one of the things that was coming up,
it's not as bad anymore because you can do electronically and get in there in and out pretty quick.
Yeah, but still you have to renew it within a certain time, and that's what happened with my last registration. It was not during the hurricanes, but there was something happened that they weren't going to deliver mail during like a certain time, and I tried to get my registration, and my dad was like, "You can't drive your vehicle if you're not registered, so do not drive your vehicle." I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I was like, "Okay, whatever, we'll get it figured out."
People do that all the time, like driving unregistered vehicle to go get registered.
Oh no, it was my license. It was my license was going to expire, and they needed to. And when I refinanced my house, they're like, well, your license is going to expire before we close, so you need to get a new license. And that's what it was. I wasn't sure if I was going to get my license in time before closing, but something came up. So I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about one of the co-hosts was going to Canada, that he needed his passport and needs to be apparently. Oh shit!
Yeah, me too.
Apparently, there was it is a rule with certain countries that your license, your passport cannot expire within 6 months of your traveling. So, say my trip, like this is all
fairly new stuff.
So I'm going to Japan in November. Mm-hmm. I need to make sure that my passport is good, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god!
My whole trip. Yeah.
Exactly, because getting
something you can just
getting a passport is not a quick process. It takes a while. Mm-hmm. I think I still have enough time between now and the end of November.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 weeks.
But I was like, shit, because I have to expedite it, go down to Miami and all that stuff. So I owe my passport, and it expires 2021. I'm like, thank Jeebus. Yeah. But that's the thing. I was freaking out because I thought that I've been planning this trip to go to Japan for a while now, and
Yeah.
If it was because my idiot self hasn't checked my passport for an expiration date,
We had a similar problem.
I would be kicking myself in the ass.
Ruin the whole thing. We had a similar problem when we went to the Bahamas. We had a cruise boat that was like going out of business. So they're doing this crazy deal to the Bahamas and back, and we had everything planned out. And then they literally changed the law on us while we were in the Bahamas. So when we came, I don't know if there was like some attack or something that happened, but when we came back, they were like, "Well, really, you should have this." I think you didn't need a passport to go to the Bahamas at the time.
You could do a passport card, I think.
Yeah, or something like that. But so when we came back, they were like, you don't have what you need to get back in the country. But since you're the first people that this has ever happened to, and it literally just got changed today,
jeez,
we're gonna let you in. We were just like, what?
Well, thanks, Ossifer.
Are we exiles now?
Yeah.
Just for going on a little trip?
Yeah, because the U.S. can't take you back.
Right.
Bahamas will take you back.
It's not like we're like seeking asylum or something.
Right.
We're like.
Right.
Man, that must be wild.
But I'm sure that has happened to people. That something has changed. I always hear about people on Reddit that lose their passport, and
people get robbed and they get all their documents taken.
Exactly, because then you have to go to the consulate. You have to wait for all this stuff to them to prove that, okay, you are who you say you are, issue a new form of identification for transportation, and man, that must be horrible.
Rough, especially if you have something that you need to pick back up when you get back home, like a job, or, anything. It's like, oh, my life's gonna fall apart now. This is great.
Yeah, but I'm okay if somebody wants to steal. Here's a hint. If somebody wants to steal my stuff while I'm in Japan, so I get stuck there, I'm not going to seek you out. Just letting you know.
Have you ever had like any of your identity stolen or a fake credit card issued or anything like that?
I've had. I wouldn't say my identity stolen. However, my last job, they were outsourcing human resources, and they decided to send out all of our W-2 all of our W-2s to somebody that was pretending to be the CEO.
Okay.
And
that's rough.
Yeah, this was like 1 month into my job, and then a month later, they're like, by the way, we filed for bankruptcy. Oh, okay. One thing after another. Cool.
Did you know stealing tax returns is like a thing? They file as you. They get your tax returns.
Yeah, exactly. But they have your social security number and all that stuff. So that was it.
You can't file again. Like if you file the IRS, they'll be like, no,
right. And that was it. Like everybody was freaking out that, oh, great, they have our W-2s. Now we have to fill them out. So everybody at my old job, we were like,
fill it out right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Fill it out as quickly as possible.
That's crazy. The only thing I've ever had was obviously my credit's been garbage up until recently. Being a dumb kid.
Woo!
Yeah. So there's nothing we're stealing.
Hashtag YOLO.
But I did get my PS3 account, I guess PSN, but specifically during the time lifespan of the PS3, hacked by a guy in Russia.
Well, if that we're talking about our online accounts, I thought you were talking about somebody opening up a line of credit under your name.
He kind of had he had everything except for the password to my email.
I've had that happen where somebody actually hacked my eBay account, purchased a smartwatch, which was a cheap knockoff Samsung watch, something like that. Except the dumbass used his real name and his address. And
it's probably not really him though. He probably has like a patsy that he.
I don't know. It's not, probably. However, he tried to use my PayPal account that was connected to my eBay account, but my PayPal account has multi-factor authentication. So I get a text message when somebody tries to log me in. It logs in as me. I had somebody log into my Netflix account and start changing my password and everything. However, Netflix has a So I got the email saying that my password has been, or my email has been changed. So I logged in immediately, and Netflix has a thing where they have they give you a support code. So I called Netflix and I talking to them, and I'm like, I have this support code. It's this, and that. And she's like, well, there you go. You just authenticated yourself. You gave me the old username, the old email, and just cleared it out.
That's basically what happened with my PlayStation. It was hard to get back because they change everything that says you're you.
Yeah.
But all he did literally was buy some really obscure PlayStation Vita game and just play under my name.
Yeah.
That was it for like 8 months because I wasn't using my PlayStation at all at the time. I was like, why would you go to all this trouble? Like, if you own a Vita and you're paying for the game, why would you bother stealing my identity to do it?
Yeah.
And now you can never play again. So why did you even bother?
I used to, because again, Uber has a multi-factor authentication where
I always use it. Battle.net, everything.
They send you a text message that's like authenticate this code. Mm-hmm. Somebody for about 2-3 months was trying to log into my Uber account in the morning at 3 a.m, 5 a.m, and I would just get bombarded.
So
I would just get bombarded with Uber. Here's your code. Here's your code. Here's your code. But of course, it never did. And I know what happened. One of the sites that I was registered for, they got hacked and all the passwords were distributed. So I had that password for a lot of things, and I just went through and changed the password. But I must have forgotten
that one. It just didn't seem important enough to like
right.
keep up with if they had a problem.
Right. So they had my email, they had my password. Luckily, my email address was not the same password because I keep my email address a completely separate password than everything else because I don't want somebody getting into that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got hit for $1,000 once, and the bank obviously flagged it and reimbursed me. Yeah. My wife's been hit for like $600, and they hit it back and reimbursed me. But it's like the Wild West right now. Sometimes when I'm going down the rabbit hole of YouTube, I watch the videos of like them like turning the tables on a scammer in a phone call.
Oh yeah, scam baiters.
Yeah. A lot of them are from India, and they're like, "Fuck you, you stupid Americans! You fall for this all the time. Yeah. This is my full-time job." And so I'm just like, there's literally people like scamming full-time.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike got scammed once. Did you ever hear about that story?
No.
So this is a really weird story with a lot of moving pieces that all fit together randomly, almost like a movie like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. So I worked at an auto shop for a long time. I've mentioned it many times.
You did? You worked where? McDonald's.
Shut up. Anyways, this guy comes in and he's like, my car broke down. I need it towed here. I need so-and-so work done on it. And this, we go through the motions. We get him signed in, get his information of his car and everything. This is like an hour process, talking to this guy, waiting on his car, getting a tow truck for him set up, adding it to his bill, getting everything set up. He goes to the waiting room, and then a while back he comes back and he's like, hey, could you add a taxi fare to my bill also? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I had a taxi fare to it. And then 45 minutes later, I get a call from the tow truck. It's like, there's no car here. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, this whole walk through, song and dance I've done with this guy was all to get $15 scammed out, but for a cab. And, like, he played all the cards like I'm in the military. Here's my military ID.
Wow.
Like, I'm trustworthy and all this stuff. So I had the guy's first and last name from this interaction. I called him. He obviously didn't answer. I'm like, yeah, you're a real piece of shit. Yeah, you're using. He had a reference to like "God bless you" or something in his voicemail. I'm like, really? Like, so he played all the cards, all the con man cards. So like 6 months later, Mike is telling me this story. Yeah, I had my Xbox scammed away. This guy got to know me at work for a long time, and he was telling me around Christmas time about his kids. He really wanted an Xbox for him, and I said I had one, and he could pay me for it whenever he had the money. So he basically got scammed by an Xbox by this guy. And I make the offhand comment, should I say the guy's name just to warn people in the Orlando area that this like con guy is working in Orlando, or do you think it's like defamation or something?
Nah.
But anyways, this guy, I threw out his name just as a joke, and I was like, yeah, it was probably this first and last name, very common first name, very uncommon last name. And Mike's like, how the fuck did you know that? And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? This full-time
it was the same person.
Scammer has hit both of us, both at our place of work. And he's just doing this like full-time. He's just working people for like, $15 here and Xbox there.
I'm curious now. We'll talk about it afterwards. I want to look up the person, see if this person's been arrested.
Yeah. He had a military ID, gunnery sergeant, and everything. Like, all part of his scam.
Wow.
But yeah, what are the odds of that?
But like as far as scamming, the most that happened is, I think I talked about it once before, was I was at work here, and it was during Christmas time. I had bought something off of a website, and apparently, I'm not sure if they got hacked or if they were just like some sort of scammers or whatever, but they ended up using my credit card number at a Walmart in Texas or Louisiana, somewhere like that.
I had my card stolen from Waffle House.
But it was I'm sitting there, And apparently, what the people will do, the scammers will do, is they'll take out, they'll go to an ATM. Exactly, they'll go to an ATM and take out like $50, or they'll charge $50. They'll get cash back. They'll buy something and get like $50 cash back, and then they do it again and get like $200 cash back, and then, but my bank stopped it at the second one. Because I guess my bank is smart enough to figure that out or whatever.
Have, like patterns.
Yeah,
your patterns.
Exactly. So the $50 one went through, but then the next one got canceled, and they called me immediately. It was like, hey, by the way, are you here? I'm like, that's kind of impossible. Yeah. I'm in Central Florida, and they're like, okay, that's enough. That's all we need to know.
You know what they do? Somebody in a place where you give your card away gets like a Taco Bell drive-through. I don't know why I felt the need to name the story. I'm referring to a news story that I saw. Anyways, they'll go through the drive-thru. They'll approach the guy at the drive-thru and they'll say, hey, I'm going to give you a skimmer. I get to keep this much of the money. You get to keep this much of the money. And when you give your card, they'll run the bell and then they'll skim it. Yeah. And somebody in another state will get your number and they'll start using it. And this happened to me at a food service place as well. Yeah. And the reason I mentioned food drive-thrus is because on the news, the person who got their card scammed went with the news crew through the drive-thru while the same person was working the drive-thru, and they were like, hey, great job stealing my card. Like, you're pretty fucked. And the guy was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They put me up to it, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, that's crazy. Like, you really got to watch whenever you hand your card away to someone, you have to keep it with
I've heard of stories that there was one in, I'm not sure where it was, but a Starbucks. Yeah. A Starbucks, somebody was pretty much using the imprint, so they would just take receipt paper and then imprint the card and then save that. And man, it's just I was talking to somebody about this. I'm not sure if I talk about it at work, but it's just people trying to find the easy way out of things. They don't want to they don't want to work hard for stuff. They want to take other people that have worked hard, take their stuff. And it's
I just can't stand theft. It's that one thing that's always like just really bothered me. I caught people stealing at stores when I wasn't even working and been like, what the fuck are you doing, you piece of shit? Like, I don't know. That for some reason. All the stupid, shitty kids. I think I did as a kid, like stealing wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't caught anybody stealing. I would love to catch somebody stealing. You know, I want to be that. I want to be that person that they see on the video that I come up and it's like trip them while they're running out or something, or like tackle
random hero.
Exactly.
So here's what happened. I was at a GameStop, which has stolen a lot of money from me, by the way. So
GameStop's stolen a lot of money from a lot of people.
That's why they're crashing and burning right now. Well, it's not entirely their fault. Games are going digital, but anyways, so there's one guy working. Obviously, he's juggling a million people. What they do is they have somebody call the store and ask a bunch of dumb questions, get you checking for used copies of games in the files, so that the guy who's going to steal stuff can do whatever he wants. So the call starts happening, and the guy gets tied up, and somebody starts jamming a shopping bag that they have from another store full of phone accessories and stuff that's near the door, high dollar stuff near the door. And I see what's going on. And I'm trying to get the attention of the guy behind the counter, but he's so engrossed in the phone call that he's not getting it. He's not acknowledging me. So what I do is I take a stack of unpaid gift cards and start whipping him at him like frisbees, like, yo, 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 hitting him with these cards. And he turns around to me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I steal shit. So he starts to pay attention to the guy, and the guy sees that he starts to get paid attention to, so he starts acting like he's shopping through stuff. So then the guy figures that the phone guy's in on it, hangs up on him, and he says something to the guy, like, hey, can I help you find anything? And the guy's like, oh yeah, something, phone something question, like I'm a normal customer. Yeah. And the guy's like, well, we could start by you putting all this stuff in your bag back on the shelf. And the guy's like, you got me, like it's a game. And for some reason that you got me reaction was the thing that pissed me off the most. It's like, it's not a fucking game, dude. It's this guy's job. If they watch this footage and they decide that he's in on it, he's fucking out. And he doesn't have another job lined up. So, like, you're really fucking up this guy's life. So, then me and the guy had a little moment afterwards. Like, yeah. I almost want to be like, yeah, you piece of shit. I got you. You know what I mean? Like you said, like, I help. Yeah, but I don't want to get stabbed outside the store.
I've seen those videos of people just, like, they're out running cops and somebody just, like, trips them and it's just like, oops, or something. Yeah, but... it has nothing to do with stealing, but I kind of one thing that bothers me because I spend every weekend pretty much at Disney. Mm-hmm. One of the things that annoys me are the people that jump the lines because they just jump over the railing
and go for free.
And go not going for free. What the fuck are you talking about?
I just Oh, you're talking about.
Just
I don't. First of all, I don't
David,
actually think that
David, shh, just.
First of all, I don't think anyone could actually get away with going in for free because there's so much security. They're basically their own self-contained city with a police department. Second of all, it was a stupid assumption.
Yeah.
Go on.
Just let me finish.
Yeah.
So there's typically two different lines. There's the regular line, and then there's the fast pass line. The fast pass line, you have to get a certain time. You go in for you got like this. I'm sure you're familiar with it with working at Universal.
Uh-huh.
So you go, they go in, and some people that are in the regular line, they see that the fast pass line is moving, and they hop the line. And I just hate people that do that because I'm just like, I'm sorry that I got this fast pass. I had to, I had to like literally sit there and plan it out and everything. Just because you didn't plan it out doesn't mean anything.
Well,
but
aren't they going to catch them at the end though?
It's not. So that's the thing. Some rides have two checkpoints, one at the beginning and one just before you get on when you get on the ride.
Sure.
So that way they know
it's a manpower thing.
They know. Okay, did you jump the line? If you did, then they tell you get back out. But the one that I was on, they didn't have that, but they did have somebody standing there to separate the lines. And I look at the girl and I point at them and I tell her that they just jump.
And she's like, "What do you want me to do?"
And so she pulls out her little thing to scan their cards and scans their magic bands to see what their fast pass. She's scanning them and she's like, "Okay, how many in your group? 5? Okay, come with me." Literally walks them out and says, "There's the exit." And I'm just like, oh, Kate and I are just like, I told Kate what happened, and Kate and I are just like, yes, yes.
So you did kind of do what I did, where they're like, it's not money stealing, but it's time stealing.
Yeah, I guess, but it's just.
You know what the pro move in the lines at the theme parks is?
Punch them.
No, if you're like by yourself or with one person and you don't have any like stroller or anything, slowing you down, you act like you're looking for someone.
Well, that's exactly.
Billy.
That's like exactly what I just told Kate.
Have you seen a kid that's still in a blue shirt? No, and you just do that all the way up.
That's what I just told Kate jokingly because
I've seen it many times.
Because
I've never done that one.
The new Galaxy's Edge just opened up today.
Yeah, 180-minute wait line.
Yeah, well, we went and we rode the like last week. Mm-hmm. We had one of the private whatever
seasonal pass holder.
Yes, pass holder events that they let us in there. So I was like, okay, cool, check it out. We were able to do the Smugglers Run, the new Millennium Falcon ride. Mm-hmm. It was like a half an hour wait.
How was it?
Oh, it was fantastic. Awesome. Oh my god, I want to do it again.
Are you a big Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I got
pretty big.
Death Star tattooed on me.
I know, but like, yeah, that's a good point. I guess I never noticed that because of its location.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan.
But yeah, the wait line, like today they were at capacity. I think at 8 or 9 a.m.
Yeah.
They're at capacity,
yeah.
So they're like, we can't take any more. So we were joking around because she's over at Disneyland right now in California, doing it, and we're planning on going back for her birthday over here. And she was like, "Oh, I hope that the line's not as crazy as it is today." I'm like, "What we do is we pretend that we're on our phones and we walk up. Oh yeah, I'm almost there. Excuse me. No, my family's up there. Yeah, no, I'm almost. I see you. I'm coming up right now. We just do that.
Not good enough. It has to be a vulnerable person, like a minor that you're looking for. It has to be something where they like empathize with you, then they'll let you through. You always have to play off of like people's emotions to get through.
I got that idea because I've had somebody do that to me at Universal, where they were on their phone and they walked up to the front, and as soon as they got to the front, just put their phone in their pocket and just like
I'm done.
Like, what the?
You motherfucker.
I cannot even be mad. Yeah. I just got. That was good.
I don't want to derail this, but I have a little bit of a Men in Black story for you. So I got an ice cream, a super bomb, expensive, fancy ice cream from the parks. I don't remember what it was, one of the best ice creams or whatever. I put it in the locker because I obviously can't take it on the ride and I can't finish the
Wait, you can't take ice cream on rides?
Anyways, so I go through Men in Black, we do our thing, and I come back out. And I can't, there's something wrong with the locker and I can't open it. And there's another guy there who has like his life's possessions in there, like a camera, a wallet. He's from Ireland. And I flag down an attendant, get the thing fixed. He opens up his locker, he gets all these expensive things out, and I open up my locker, go ice cream, and start eating it. And I was like, "You went through all that for a fucking ice cream?" And I'm like,
"Yes,
absolutely."
Yeah. This is my life possession.
That's my story. And the funny thing being that the ice cream is like melted now.
God,
I'm committed. I've been through this whole process.
Because I can just imagine those
like
lockers.
It was like a $13 ice cream, so I was like, this is important.
Those lockers are just like, again, kind of like your house during the hurricane, just a giant tin oven.
Right. Yep. It was nighttime, but yeah, same thing. So I just thought that was funny. I've had a lot of weird run-ins. We'll do the park stories. We'll give it some good time.
Yeah, because I got one weird run-in that it was a.
Is it quick enough to share? Because I've got a test waiting for me when I get home.
A test waiting?
Oh, school, yeah.
Oh, you're back at school. What time do you have to leave? Is it past your bedtime right now?
No, I just got to run home, and it's going to get worse as the semester goes on. I'm already to a really bad start.
What's due? It's due at midnight?
Yeah, it's due at midnight. One time I went to karaoke, looked at my watch, went home, did the test, came back and finished karaoke.
I've done stuff like that, but yeah, we can end it here then.
We'll save your Universal because I'm sure we have a lot of theme park stories, especially how much you go there and how long I worked there. So
I have one story that's just crazy because it was a multi-year thing that happened and it was just crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, all right, cool.
We'll cliffhanger you with that.
Yeah, so we'll probably do. Hopefully, we don't get blown away.
Yeah, we might have some complications here coming up, but thanks
hopefully
for hanging out.
Yeah.
For catching us on a VOD.
Yeah.
We love you. Like and subscribe. What's the other thing? Click the bell. Hit up our Patreon,
which we don't have.
I know that's the joke. Okay, bye.
Bye.